And of course, you can listen to the rest of her video to get more context on the conversation. But while that was on my mind, I wanted to talk about a lot of these topics. But let me let her finish what she was saying.
You're gonna feel slighted, you're gonna feel less than, you're gonna feel weird because he has all of the qualities that you don't, and it will expose you. I said this a long time ago. Their standards expose your insecurities, your instability, your weaknesses, your downfalls. Every aspect of where you need to work on is exposed. It's put on Front Street because when he starts talking, you realize immediately that he's not your average little pookie. He's not your average little dude that you can relate to and you can, run him over and talk to him crazy and diminish him because he don't know any better. But when a guy has his stuff together and he has his head on straight and he knows how to speak, that's intimidating to a lot of women who are beneath him. Just saying. And I'm not saying beneath a man. I don't think anybody's beneath anybody, but a lot of women do. A lot of women feel superior to men if they have an education, if they have a degree, and you don't. They think that they're smarter. So they put you beneath them because it makes them feel more important. And, you can do that to certain men. And you can have a controlling aspect over those men because you think you're better and you think you know more. But a man who actually has his stuff together, you can't pull that on him. And it makes them kind of draw back because they're like, oh wait, I can't play with him because he's on his P's and Q's. He knows what he's talking about. He seems to be, a little bit more educated, or he may not, whatever he's doing, he seems put together. And he's not, he's not playing with you, or he's not falling for these little games that you try. You can't talk to him a certain way. And so this is why, once again, I say it's a projection on the men that actually have something going. A lot of these women aren't as comfortable talking to these men.
So you can hear the rest of her discussion. She makes a lot of great points, but getting to the base of the conversation, this is where most women end up falling into this category, and it's all created by the sisterhood, because instead of them dating with purpose, their go-to is dating like a 304. So I'm gonna go into this discussion more in this video.
This is gonna ruffle a few feathers. Well, like they say, a hit dog gon' holler. Stop shaming men for wanting an actual partner and not another bill.
Maybe. At this point, I feel like if you are talking to a woman and she's not talking about building with you, there's honestly no point in dealing with her unless you categorize yourself as a simp or something like that. Because when it comes to how society is now, a lot of things are becoming harder to do with one income. A lot of things are becoming almost impossible. For instance, like if the wage gap continues, right? You'll need a lot more time. If you have kids, you'll need a lot more time to work. And so you'll need constant supervision for those children. And this is while juggling everything on top of that. And so when it comes to a woman that says that she wants to come home and like watch the kids and be a traditional wife, that time has came and gone. And at this point, it's like, unless you have that type of stability, and the thing is, do you want to really trust a woman that hasn't earned that stability with you, right? So if she's not willing to build that stability with you, it's almost no point in dating her, because a lot of these women, they don't understand that you have to adapt with the situation and the circumstance. For instance, like when you're in a marriage or relationship, etc., it's supposed to be through the thick and the thin. And it's amazing how a lot of modern women don't see those parts where they're not trying to build with you. They're not trying to, if you start talking about business, if you start talking about legacy, it's like their eyes glaze over, they get bored. And a lot of people try to say it's just a certain type of woman that does this, when it's all over the spectrum of women that do this, because a lot of the women come in different appearances. Oh man, a lot of them also look alike, dress alike, and stuff like that. But different appearances, but the same female, pretty much. Men bashing, men bashing, strong, independent. All of these things, degrees, etc., lead with all of that, right? And so when it comes down to it, I forgot where I was going with this. But when you have women like that, there's not much you can do when it comes to team building, because a lot of them already have a pride issue. And if you are trying to build to a certain lifestyle, right, they're going to either be the one that says, hey, I'll come back when you're done, or B, I don't want to get in that situation with you at all. I'm not trying to build. And it's really insane when you think about it, because a lot of these people, they want to work hard by themselves, earn what, I mean, it's pretty much selfishness in a nutshell. But they want to just build and live for themselves 24/7. And what they don't understand is there's gonna become a time where you're gonna want to not be alone. There's gonna be come a time where there's stuff that money can't bring you, like the comforts, like people that care about you. Like, a lot of people don't understand that besides being very materialistic and unpleasant when it comes to personality and everything like that, they also are cutting off all forms of human connection when it comes to genuine connection. And it's really crazy how people don't understand how a man or the right person, right, can develop someone into more. So it makes no sense when a lot of these women will sleep with house bums, like these guys that don't have anything going for themselves. But if you're a guy, let's say, that works hard, but you're limited because of whatever reasons, and this woman literally has the keys in her hand to unlocking doors where this man could accomplish so much more. And of course, there's this whole thing where there's a lot of them that say, hey, don't ever build a man because he'll leave you. It's like, when you don't know how to choose quality, you go to defaults like that. When you don't have a good sense of direction, etc., which is why leadership is needed. This is why a lot of women go to defaults, like saying all men are bad and all this stuff that makes no sense when everyone is an individual. If you treat each case individually, and you didn't pick everyone with a type, then most likely, your outcomes will vary. But when it comes down to it, you choose a person that has potential. You choose a person that has the qualities that you want. And what a lot of people don't understand as well is, with time comes experience. With that shapes character. And when that character is shaped, that man becomes, better and better with age. And so it's like a lot of women miss out on great companionship. And I don't even really like to use companionship, because I don't like the whole not understanding there always has to be a leader, so someone has to follow. But that's when you earn the stripes. You really see how each other work and move through the thick and thin. And you're gonna want that in the longevity of a relationship, because if they're quitting after a little bit of hardship, it's a lot better to know that early off as possible. But as we said before, like, a lot of these people don't want quality relationships. These people don't want quality because they're trying to just use people. But if your woman doesn't understand that it's like when you lack a lot of like traits that are important, like accountability, self-reflection, you already see that these women can improve. And this is why a lot of times also, yes, we can blame a lot of the men that have issues in their life when it comes down to some of the women they choose, because a lot of the women that I've seen other men choose, I would never choose these women because I see that there's no plus to dealing with them. Yes, they're attractive and things like that, but they're dealing with these bad attitudes, these crash outs and stuff like that. But when you at the core of it are really finding somebody that you're attracted to and that check off the important boxes, including wanting to build with you, that's when you start picking people that are compatible with you and where you're going with your life and your goals and aspirations, and you don't have someone that's pulling you back and holding you back.
Hey, listen, I agree wholeheartedly with the second woman said. Listen, a good man who has standards and knows his worth and his value is going to make these particular women look stupid. You're going to feel slighted, you're going to feel less than, you're going to feel weird because he has all of the qualities that you don't, and it will expose you. I said this a long time ago. Their standards expose your insecurities, your instability, your weaknesses, your downfalls.
And this is where a lot of women don't understand why they fall into the category of just being a smash and pass. Because I'm not sure about other men in general, how they really think about interactions with women. Like, for instance, on a dating site, right? On a dating site, it's really crazy when you're trying to connect with somebody on different levels and they're pretty much dry texting you. And then some people might say, oh, I'm not much of a texter, etc., etc. But that, to me, that's always a lie, because these same people will be posting on comment boards and be saying all this stuff because they want to engage with those things. So if they don't want to engage with you, they're going to find an excuse to not want to engage with you, maybe on a way that you say that works for you. But a lot of these women, they become just a smash and pass, because I don't know about a lot of other men, but I've had these issues before where I'm trying to get to know somebody. Like, I'm asking, I might have like a lot of information in my bio. I'm gonna give you, for instance, a dating app situation, right? I have a lot of information in my bio. I'd say what my hobbies are. I actually wouldn't say hobbies. A lot of times, like, I would try to connect on business or personal. Hey, I do this, I do that. And then I will have some other little things on my profile so that you can kind of figure out how you want to connect, so someone has a good idea of who you are, kind of, right? And then so, like, the women will match with you, and then they will, and this is like all the different things they'll do, right? They'll match with you, they'll wave, like if there's something weird, like they'll wave or just send an emoji. They'll dry message you, leave very few lines. If you say, hey, what interested you in connecting with me? Now, keep in mind, you say business, friendship, personal, all this other stuff. And then they can't say nothing. A lot of them will ignore you. and things like that. And the worst part is, a lot of times you feel like you have a lot more. I'll say it like this. I felt like I've had a lot more success connecting with women when it's just on a physical and carnal level. And I'm talking about the number of like actual connections. When I treat them how they telegraph they want to be treated, by when you're trying to connect with somebody on a human level and they're not showing interest in those things. They just say, oh, I'm chalking it up to this guy just talking about himself. Not, hey, this guy is trying to see where we mutually connect so that we can build. But they think of it as, oh, this guy is just talking about himself. This guy's full of himself. And or they don't have anything else. They don't have anything else to like add to the conversation, like dry texting, short messages. You might point out a few things, and then so you're just like, oh, okay, so you just want the D, like being real, like you just want the D, because when it boils down to it, you be like, okay, so did you connect with me for my intellect? And the worst part is when you are a man that you're well-rounded, you're intellectual, you physically take care of yourself, but you're also trying to, you're trying to keep your options open, because you're still a adult. You still have your the things, your needs, your wants. Sometimes you want to connect for a short meet. Sometimes you want to see if it will develop into more. But my whole point is, like, you're trying to connect with people on different levels, and then you notice a lot of these women, if you really don't message them like you're trying to smash, if you don't end up like just connecting with them to smash, it's like they waste your time. And it's like they get bored really quick. It's like they get offended that you're trying to have a conversation with them. And it's so much easier to connect with them once you smash them. You give them real good work so that they are more receptive to talking to you, to communicating with you. And of course, after you get that part out the way, you really see if they're in it for the long run. And a lot of times that you'll see that they're not. And that's fine. You're not trying to force anybody into anything that they don't personally want. But it's crazy how a lot of women don't understand how they become like just something to smash, because when it comes down to you trying to connect with their brain and their intellect, that's too much. That's too much to respond to. And the crazy part is that's harder to do, meaning that they'll sit there and not even think about how that bypasses a lot of red flags. So if the dude can barely speak, he speaks in Ebonics, doesn't say complete sentences, and can't even try to connect with you more than just your body, then wouldn't that translate to that person probably being a red flag and probably just wanting to smash and pass? But a lot of women don't seem to want to connect when you're an intellectual man and you start talking a certain way, because like I said, like they'll be like, oh, I need a hood dude, I need somebody that that's ignorant, can't speak correctly, short fuse, overly aggressive, just ignorant, you know what I'm saying? And they think they translate that to masculinity, when you can have masculinity and totally be militant and can control your emotions, your feelings, and things like that. Even though I know a lot of them are attracted to products of single mothers, and this is the reason why they're attracted to men like that. But it just comes full circle. It's like they put themselves in this category because every time you try to connect with them on a real basis, that's not what's exciting. So it's like as soon as you mention maybe some drugs or something like that, or blowing money, then that's the only time that the majority of them, and like I said, it's crazy because it's the overwhelming majority a lot of the times. And so whenever you're messaging them and trying to interact with them like you're trying to smash, it seems to be way more successful on the number of women you connect with and the type of quality of connection that you connect with. It is what it is.
Every aspect of where you need to work on is exposed. It's put on Front Street, because when he starts talking, you realize immediately that he's not your average little pookie. He's not your average little dude that you can relate to and you can, run him over and talk to him crazy and diminish him.
And that's another thing. It's like a lot of these women, they also enjoy talking and dealing with men that they feel like they can control, they can lord over, and that they can outsmart. Because anytime a lot of these women have these stories about how the dudes that they were with did this dumb stuff, that dumb stuff, I don't know if anybody else has ever heard a lot of this stuff that these women be talking about. Like the men that they really deal with, they're really childish, they're really ignorant, and they're on the same type of time that they are on, being realistic, right? Because all of their stories when it comes to guys be lies, because if you ever listen to their stories, like a lot of it sounds like lies. They'll have the men in the story talking in a manner of a woman would. I wish I could bring up the example right now, but the speech pattern, the ideas, like all of it is not masculine. So anytime that they have like an issue, a lot of times, and they have a story about men, it always boils down to some man with some really feminine tendencies that, for one, that either A, they made up, or B, it's the man that they decided to deal with and that they decided to spread their legs open with and stuff like that. Even the running around and destroying each other's stuff, putting hands on each other. A productive man isn't going to do all those things because he understands that, one, you always have to be in control of your emotions, but two, what's it going to solve? You being mad, putting your hands on somebody, and now you're in jail and or prison or something like that because something escalated, right? And a lot of these women, they're attracted to men that they can emotionally manipulate, that they can emotionally control. They're attracted to weak men because they enjoy the highs and lows of it, right? It's like having a child for them. They end up with a guy that they can put on an emotional roller coaster, so they know how to push his buttons. They know how to get on his good side. And this is why whenever they hear a guy that's too intelligent, they always shy away from that and make up some type of excuse, because most men, I'm not going to say that you can't be intelligent and come from the hood or anything like that, but most men and individuals who are intelligent aren't going to act like your general population. They're not going to carry themselves in a way that hinders them from being business oriented, that hinders them from making success, from all of these things, because especially if they're a black man, they're not going to walk around in a mannerism. For one, everybody wasn't raised in the hood, so how is everybody picking up all of this urban mentality when it's like a lot of people came from the suburbs and stuff? So these people are pretenders and stuff, right? Low level stuff, low mental stuff, right? But these women are expecting intelligent men to dumb themselves down to fit into a template just just to smash them. And what they don't understand is this is what disqualifies a lot of them from being quality women, because just because you have a type, we're not saying that's the issue. The issue is that you can't stray away from that. You can't stray away from stuff that has most likely brought you trauma, that has most likely brought you drama, right? So you like hood dudes, you like urban dudes, you like dudes that dress a certain way, talk a certain way, and it just so happens that all of those are your baby daddies that didn't work out, and all of those seem to be the one night stands, the violent aggression and all this other stuff, right? And then so now you have a new low level way of thinking that a lot of women are doing, where now they're saying, oh, go for the nerds and all of this stuff, when, as I said before, it's ridiculous, because if you actually just stopped looking for materialism, looked for potential in a man, look for chemistry, because what a lot of women don't understand is, hey, if you're good at business, that's good, but that doesn't mean you're good at protection. That doesn't mean that you're good at all of these other things, right? And so a lot of women miss out on things that when more than one person is together, it multiplies. It doesn't just add, especially when you're actually working together, because that multiplication comes when it comes with improving each other, doing things where, like, if one person's down, the other person's moving, right? And so a lot of women, they miss out on the opportunity to make themselves more successful, because they think, oh, just because this guy doesn't have material gains and stuff, when a lot of them don't understand that there's a lot of men that has had opportunities to do those things, but they wouldn't be the man that they are if they were living a life of luxury this entire time. If they were the template man that went against what they wanted in life just for materialism, and just for that to, like, get them women and get all this other stuff. Because this is why they find a lot of men that are lacking when it comes to, they have money but they don't have much else, because a lot of these men, they didn't develop in the ways that you have to when you're getting your money in a a humble way. Like, there's things that men can teach your kids that are much more valuable. If you want to have the money, okay, cool, but it's like, when it comes to morals, values, and things like that, like, a lot of people with money, you'll see that they have very low moral standing. They have very low morals. And instead of you focusing on somebody that has those things, and you say, hey, you know what? This could be like a Disney story, right? But except for the opposite. And I'm not saying that you put them in a princess thing, but what I'm saying is, now you have that royalty, that money going to somebody that would steward it through leadership. And like I said, you multiply each other. You build a system. You build something so that you're getting more, and he's helping take a load off of you. Because that's the thing. It's like, whenever people think about, oh, I have the bigger paycheck, it's not always about that. It's about taking the load off of the other person. You understand how much, if you want to be a CEO and you want to lord over your office and then come back and submit to your husband, like, how much of a great life that could really be. Like, eventually, like, you can figure out a way that you don't have to work, and that you can all be comfortable, and he can show you things that you can't learn in the office. Because a lot of women also think and convert everything that they learn to office to knowing things about life, for knowing things about parenting. It's like they think that degrees like mean that they're just all around intelligent and everything, which makes no sense. Like, it makes no sense. Like, we can give them the benefit of the doubt when it comes to something that they went to school for, trained for, all this other stuff. We can give them the benefit of the doubt, and we can give them their credit where it's due. But those specialties and those achievements are for those locations only. That doesn't mean that you're just gonna crush it everywhere else. You can even see this in an unbiased way when you say, hey, why do a lot of military people who have had people in life and death situations, commanded people, had a lot more responsibility than civilian? Why are they given roles that don't translate that high into positions when it boils down to it? And it's because when it comes to that job in that place, you have to have specific qualities and understanding that gives you that ranking in that aspect. And so when you're with a man, men have to learn a lot more than women do. And that's in everything. And women are like, oh, well, we have degrees and stuff. I'm not talking about that, because like we just said, that gives you a specialty in one area of life. It doesn't mean you didn't work hard for it, but that doesn't mean you know everything about street smarts. It doesn't. And of course, some women are gonna be like, oh, well, I can protect and do all this myself, etc., etc. But our minds don't work the same. There's things in certain specific ways that men think that women aren't able to, because they're concerned with different things. And so this is why when a man and a woman, they work together in different aspects, it's unparalleled when they're actually working together. Because men at this point don't want to deal with women because they're not any type of addition or multiplication. They're just subtraction. All they want to do is get with them and take money and do all this other stuff. But when you have a woman that's bringing something that you guys can put together and make more, then that's where it happens. A lot of people wouldn't know the celebrities that they know if the agents and the companies had the same mindset as a lot of women. Oh, well, I don't want to deal with this person because they're not doing nothing big right now, so what are they going to do for me right now, right? When all these companies seem, I'm just going to use I'm going to say men, for example, because there's talented men and women, but we're going to use the men for an example. But when you say, hey, I want, these artists, right? Oh, I see this artist can sing, they can dance, but hey, they just need some vocal choruses. They need some, they need a stylist. They need the music videos. Like, if they thought like how women think about their men, we wouldn't have anybody develop now, right? And some women are saying to themselves, well, I don't want a child. Well, this is not a child. This is a person that's working with you, as I said before. You're not holding somebody's hand. And it's like, and if you women would stop dealing with men that you can control because you want to control, and actually get with an intelligent man that it would make sense for you to submit to, then you wouldn't have these issues. And then if you actually would use trust and value your man, then submission shouldn't be that hard. Because as I said before, it's like the things that us as men have to learn are vastly different than women. We have to learn self-control on a vastly different level than women. We have to learn being smart about our money vastly different than women. We have to learn that no one's going to be out there to help you vastly different than women. When it comes to situations that we've been into, vastly different than women. Because as a man, we can come up to somebody that treats us like evil all the way to good with every single interaction based upon just how men are treated in society, where someone can not care about you or care about you or whatever. But women are catered to in society, and then if they're attractive, then everything they see is pretty much green light. They're getting out of speeding tickets. They're getting doors held for them. They're not getting people to get angry at them. So the things that man can impart on a child is vastly different than the delusions that a woman would develop that was attractive and we that has pretty privilege, as we call it, right? And so what people don't understand is it's not about being better than the other person. It's about being a better team together, being better at what you're doing, being more efficient, because you're not holding everything by yourself. That's what people aren't understanding. You get with a man that's a massage therapist and you are a woman that's on a athletic team and you're professionally performing. Doesn't matter that you're making more money than him. I'm pretty sure you would probably accomplish a lot more. You probably recover a lot more. You probably enjoy every aspect of your life a lot more than a lot of other people, because you're actually attracted to this person. You can get massages, etc. You're a model and you decide to get with a photographer. That like, what people don't get is you can make more money than somebody, but you can always become more efficient as a team when you are combining what you have together. And sometimes it could even be vastly multiplied just because of that touch. For instance, as I said before, these people, they find these individuals with singing talent, dancing talent, etc. that's natural, and they say, hey, let's fine tune it. We're gonna take a couple $1,000. We're gonna get this guy that's not bringing anything to us, and we're gonna get him dressed up. We're gonna give him the lessons, and now we have a developed artist that's getting them millions and millions down the line. And so, and I'm talking about selling out shows, and if women would actually think like that, it would their dating experience, their experience in life will be vastly different, and even in marriage, because a lot of women are competing with their man, talking about, oh, I couldn't respect a man that's making less money than me. So why would both of your goals be to be working for somebody, when if you are really pulling in more money, now you can get with a man that's an entrepreneur, and you can say, well, now I have somebody that I'm actually with, I trust and I love, and now I can sit there and say, hey, now I have an exit strategy, so that if this company goes down, something happens to you, like for instance, like let's say that you're a surgeon, you get injured or something, right? That man might have to support you. There's all types of stuff that could freakishly happen, that if you had somebody in your life and you actually cared about other individuals, it just works out a lot better, right? And so your goal shouldn't be to work for somebody your entire life. Your goal shouldn't be to be running a business by yourself your entire life, where if something was to happen to you, and of course that you you always hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst. And that's the thing. It's like, why do people think that savings accounts and investment portfolios are the only investments, the only backup, the only retirement, when somebody helping you get around if something happens to you, somebody that's protecting you, somebody that's loving you, somebody that like I said, you guys could be working on an exit strategy so that you don't have to work for anybody anymore. You can make your own business if you're running the business, and now you have your husband that you're maybe making more money than, but great, brilliant man, and now you can go and create a business that is competing with the other business and retire or whatever. I don't know if that's legally able to be done, but my whole point is, sky is the limit when you are putting your mind together, not in an addition type mindset, but a multiplication. Because when you guys get together, you guys aren't just networking and connecting on a dumb level of just, hey, how much money you're putting into the bank? Oh, I'm putting this amount of money. No, you're not doing that. Because if you actually get a quality person, let's say hunting skills, right? Hunting, right? Let's say that there's stuff that you've always wanted in life. You've always wanted some excitement, and you say, hey, I got all the money, but I want to go on, I want a life of adventure and stuff like that. You get with an outdoorsman that knows how to hunt, that knows how to live in the wilderness. So now you're leaving your office life, and this is going to appeal to some women, not all women, but I'm showing you just the parallels of the excitement you can get. You can get with a surfer. Now you're learning how to surf, and you have, like, this person's creative and artsy, and now you have this guy that you vibe with, you're attracted to, you have your perfect job, you have your perfect life, you have your husband, and it could all be better. But like I said, everybody's thinking in this very linear way, where how does that make sense, where the only way that you're thinking is, oh, we're just putting our paychecks together, when that's not it. Like the life lessons, where this person's lived, if this person knows a different language, like all of these things could be multiplication. And what you're capable of doing when you're not tied down 24/7, and like where you're the only one worried about if you're staying on, off the streets and have a roof over your head. When you're able to really think on that level, you'll be surprised how much more you're optimized, how much more you could accomplish, how much more, let's say that you get less stressed and you can get those raises that you want, you can get through that schooling that you want. How much more could you do if you was working with somebody? You're not just connecting, as I said before, on a financial level. You are connecting on all levels. It's a multiplication. When you pick the right people, you are growing exponentially. Like there is no ending to how much and how rapidly you can grow when you're both working on different levels at different things, and you specialize in different things. Like, you can always get people that are interested in the same things as you, but it's sometimes even more valuable to deal with somebody that's on a different that does different things than you. There's some people where they have great ideas, they have great things, and they need somebody to help invest in them. They're $1 million. They have $1 million idea, and all they need is somebody to help invest in them and push them. There's somebody out there that might have a perfect company idea. It might be a small business owner and a man, and there might be a woman that could help support that idea where it becomes $1 billion company, and now they both don't have to work, and it's all thanks to not her picking up like a project, but thinking in the way of multiplication. This man is bringing leadership, protection, love, care, protection, loyalty, safety, children, a future, companionship, And he also has the potential to do so much more than he's doing if he had a woman that had your specialty, that a woman that had your position, a woman that had your connections. That's the, and it's like a lot of women wait until they're sugar mama age to do all this stuff, and it's like it just makes no sense. Like a lot of women are missing out on men that they're compatible with more than they know, and they would enjoy their entire life with. But what's holding them back from that is a pissing contest when it comes to who makes more money. When it comes down to who's taller, that's even a dumb thing. I mean, if you obviously want a guy that's taller than or whatever, but the whole 6 foot thing, like women literally do all of these things, right? And they throw all of these opportunities away. And as I said before, like this is why a lot of women become just a smash situation too, because it's like when a man starts saying like, oh, okay, you just concerned about money. It's like you're not concerned about like anything. Like you're not really there for the person. Like how much can you really be concerned about like really liking somebody and getting to know somebody and wanting to spend your life with somebody when everything that you think about is based around money? And it's like okay, so this chick, like all she's concerned about is money. So okay, so let me just smash her and keep it pushing, because she's not even trying to get to know me on a deeper level. She's not even trying to see if, hey, do we even connect? Like, is this person going to be a detriment to my life? No. So then what's it matter if he's making less money? And as I said before, if you're not thinking where it's just like, oh, we're just putting our paychecks together, we're just putting our money together, then you'd understand like how much further you can get working together rather than you both or you doing your solo thing and getting eventually tired. Like, and who wants to do that? Like, it doesn't even make any sense. Like, is that your purpose in life? You just want to work for somebody for your entire life? Do you want to just be focused on your career? Some people say yes, but some people, like, I don't know. It's like, do you ever plan on retiring? There's so many things that you can do a lot sooner if you are not doing it by yourself. Passion projects, like the reason why I'm guessing a lot of women don't have hobbies or get to develop hobbies, which helps relieve stress and is actually very beneficial for you and keeping your mind sharp and keeping you from developing like mental illnesses when you're elderly, because keeping yourself sharp and not just getting good at your job, working different parts of your brain. And a lot of people aren't able to do that because they're not because they are 100% focused on that one thing that they're doing, the career, the goal. And as I said before, it's like materialism is the root of it all, because when you boil it down, that's where it comes down to. Because it's like once you make, everybody is like on this race to just make more and more money, and it's like, what do you guys want all this money for? Oh, okay, so you can just buy material things, look fancier than everybody else, rather than saying to themselves, hey, well, my goal is to get this amount of money so I can accomplish this goal, which is having some stability so that I can have my longer term goal, which is maybe like a family business or something. Like I said, a lot of people are going to say, oh, that's not what I want. But what people are not understanding is it's not about what you currently want. It's about where you see yourself ending up. So every single day you should be working on what you want to do when you end up where you want to. Like, for however long you're around. And that's where a lot of people don't see it. They just say, oh, well, I'm going to work and just do this and do this. And it's like, but is that what you, like, is that your purpose here? So if you feel like your purpose here is just to be that worker bee, then you can do that. But when it comes to really trying to focus on your purpose, you'll see that when you let things flow, you stop thinking about the materialistic things. Then you're able to connect with people on a genuine level. Then you're able to really get into your groove. And a lot of times, something that you've always wanted to do is what you are supposed to have been doing, and you'll be the most successful at. And you can have everything meshed together, rather than having this one idea where it's like, oh, I got to do it this way, and it's just got to be my way, and this and that. And it's like, how often do you have to fail before you decide, hey, I need to do something different? And a lot of it is letting things flow. And I'm not saying like make bad decisions. I'm not saying to, not think about and not plan and not strategize. But a lot of it is going past that. You're judging people. You're not being humble. You're being very prideful. And it's not productive. It's not good energy. It's tearing other people down. And like I said before, you miss out on people who are potential. You might be walking past the next billionaire with or without your help. But you're so busy chasing this guy that supposedly has it. And what a lot of people don't understand is a lot of these people are not the people who they claim they are. And we see this daily. And so when you decide to get with somebody that you can make that situation a reality, then that's where you find success, because you can do what you need to do until you find the person. But your goal should never be to be like, oh, well, I'm trying to always do this myself, because like I said, like, is that all you want to do in life? And is that what you want people to remember you by? Oh, they were a hard worker. Oh, they were a go-getter. Oh, they got a lot of money. Like, will people even miss you? But that's not really the important thing to think about. The important thing to think about is, as I said before, when you pull yourself out of this materialistic thought process, you start making goals today, and you start making decisions today that go towards your overall decision and the end goal. So you stop having a warped perception of making everybody the enemy, and you keep yourself more open and available for the genuine connections. And then not only that, you're able to now have a larger pool of potential people who you actually have a genuine connection with, because now you're not doing vain things and materialistic things to get rid of these individuals. And this can develop into something where you are so happy that you can just run away from everything and just, be content. But it also can turn into something where you felt like you was able to do something, but then this other person came into your life, and then either you gave them that spark or they gave you that spark, and now you're even more successful than you were before. But a lot of that starts with understanding that these ways of thinking can be a detriment to everybody. And when people finally wake up to it being that type of detriment, then we can get back to all benefiting from relationships, friendships, and start really making connections and being able to build community, because a lot of community is built when people aren't so, oh, I'm better than you, or I'm better than you. Like, it's crazy. It's like, what if for your house, right? What if the person that did your tile is, you got the most fanciest tile job, right? And then you want your plumbing done, but you want a standard plumbing, right? You don't want anything high tech. But the people that put the tile down was like, well, I don't want the person doing the plumbing because they don't make enough money to like be in help and work on this house, right? I want somebody that makes more money. Like, I know that might not be the best the best explanation, but when you think about it, I'm saying like you're trying to just get the house in order and get it running, and when it's running, it can be lived in, and you can rent it out, you can do whatever you need to with it. But my whole point is, it's like you're building together. It's not just a one job thing. You're not just adding to each other like that.